Hello everyone. In our previous classes, we have learned about the nucleophilic addition reaction as well as oxidation reactions of aldehydes and ketones. In the top right corner of the screen, I will give one card regarding those topics. You can go and check it there. Okay. Now, moving on to the reduction reactions of aldehydes and ketones. The first topic is reduction to alcohols. Aldehydes and ketones on catalytic hydrogenation in the presence of nickel, platinum or palladium or chemically by complex metal hydrides such as lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride give alcohols. Okay, so here two kinds of reduction you can see, means two procedures. First one is with catalytic hydrogenation in presence of this metals, that is nickel, platinum or palladium, and second one is chemically by complex metal hydrides such as lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride. Okay, now aldehydes give primary alcohols. Why aldehyde always give primary alcohols? Because aldehyde contains this hydrogen atom, as a result of which we get primary alcohol. Okay, while ketones give secondary alcohols. In ketone you can see that there are two methyl groups, and because of these two methyl groups you always end up with secondary alcohols. So here you can see that this is the carbonyl compound. It can be aldehyde or ketone. So first procedure is the catalytic hydrogenation, that is hydrogen in presence of finely fine fine metals, that is nickel, platinum or palladium. Okay, you will get this alcohol. This may be primary alcohol for aldehydes and secondary alcohols for ketones, or you can use complex metal hydrides such as lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride to get the same results. Okay, here you can see aldehydes, that is acetaldehyde, undergoes reduction through catalytic hydrogenation method to ethyl alcohol. Similarly, acetone undergoes reduction to propan-2-ol, that is secondary alcohol. You can use in this one you can use lithium aluminum hydride also, doesn't matter, and in this one you can use catalytic hydrogenation also. Okay, benzaldehyde similarly undergoes reduction to benzyl alcohol, that is a primary alcohol. Since it is an aldehyde, so it will give primary alcohol. And dicyclohexyl ketone, okay, this one is a ketone, so it will give dicyclohexyl methanol, that is secondary alcohol. Okay, now how can you convert this propanon to propene? Okay, propanon, that means a ketone. See here, ketone. Okay, now first of all we will do the reduction of propanon, so we will get this secondary alcohol, and the secondary alcohol further treatment with concentrated H2SO4 and heat. See here, 443 Kelvin. Okay, so it will give one water molecule and propene. Okay, so heating the secondary alcohol in concentrated H2SO4 will lose one water molecule, and it will be converted to corresponding alkene here. See, it's very easy. This hydrogen, okay, this hydrogen will go and make a double bond, and this OH will leave. Okay, so this one will be like this. Okay, now moving on to metal hydrides. Okay, Lithium aluminum hydride is much more reactive than sodium borohydride. Why is it so? See, electronegativity of boron is 2.04 and electronegativity of aluminum is 1.61. That means boron is much more electronegative than aluminum. And you can see here also that in the periodic table, boron and aluminum belongs to the same group. Okay. See, if we move down the group, then what happens? Basicity increases. Now, what is basicity? Basicity means the tendency to give electrons. Okay. So, if basicity increases, then electronegativity, that is the tendency to gain electrons, will decrease, and hence this one is justified that the electronegativity of boron is more compared to aluminium. Okay. The more electronegative an atom is, the less likely it will be to share or give up electrons. So, if an atom is more electronegative, then it will not have a tendency to share or to give its electron to other atoms or group. Okay. A hydride is just that, extra electrons, one to be exact, on a hydrogen. So if the hydride bound to boron, it is less likely to be released for organic transformation when compared to aluminium. Now, if you see the structures of this lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride, you will see that here this aluminum is coordinated to 4 hydrogen atoms. Okay, and this bears a negative charge, and which is counterbalanced by lithium ion. Okay, whereas this sodium borohydride, okay, now in sodium borohydride, sodium is the cation and borohydride is the anion. In this one structure, boron is coordinated to 4 hydrogen atoms and boron bears a negative charge. Now, okay, so for reduction reaction, this, if we consider this aluminum hydride, what it will do is it will give one hydride ion. Okay, H minus, this hydride ion it will leave. That is, this hydride along with the bond will go and attack to the carbonyl carbon. Similarly, in case of borohydride also, this hydrogen bond, okay, this hydrogen bond, this hydrogen along with it, with its bond, will go and attack the carbonyl carbon. Okay. Now we have to compare among these two compounds, that is among lithium aluminum hydride and among sodium borohydride, this sodium borohydride, which compound has a more tendency to give its hydride ion. So if the hydride, if the tendency to release the hydride is more, then its reducing character is more. Since boron is more electronegative than aluminium, so it will not give the bond to hydrogen atom. Okay, rather it will take the bond towards itself. See, aluminium and hydrogen. Okay, and if you consider here boron and hydrogen, so if we consider this bond is made up of two electrons. Okay, this is first electron and this one is second electron. Similarly, in case of boron also, two electrons. Now aluminium is less electronegative than boron. Okay, so aluminium can allow the hydrogen atom to take these two electrons and become hydride ion, which will go and attack to the carbonyl carbon. But in case of boron, this tendency is less, as boron is more electronegative than aluminium. So in case of boron, the release of hydride is less. Okay, so the reducing property of borohydride is less that is less than compared to that of aluminium hydride. Okay, since electronegativity is more of boron, so hydride releasing tendency is less. Okay, and that is why its reducing character is less as compared to lithium aluminum hydride. Now these are some groups, there is the functional groups which lithium aluminum hydride reduces, and these are the groups which sodium borohydride reduces. So you can see here that in lithium aluminum hydride there are much more groups, as it is lithium aluminum hydride is a stronger reducing agent than sodium borohydride. Okay, see in lithium aluminum hydride, aldehydes, ketones, acid chlorides, amide, nitriles, ester, nitro compounds, alkaloids, etc. These groups can be reduced, whereas in borohydride, aldehydes, ketone, acid chloride, alkyls, esters can also get reduced, but the reduction is very slow. Okay, so now you see here this compound. Okay, this compound contains two carbonyl groups. That is, first one is that of keto group and the second one is of ester group. Now we are giving sodium borohydride in ethanol. So sodium borohydride cannot reduce ester. Okay, but it can reduce this ketone to secondary alcohol. Okay, this ketone can be reduced to secondary alcohol, but this ester cannot. So in the final product we are getting secondary alcohol and one ester. Okay, now if we take the same compound, okay, and if we treat it with lithium aluminum hydride, then what will happen? So lithium aluminum hydride can reduce ketones as well as esters. Okay, so the ketone will get reduced to secondary alcohol and the ester group will be reduced to primary alcohol. Okay, so we are getting both reduced products if we use lithium aluminum hydride in this compound. But if we want to get the same compound as that of sodium borohydride by using lithium aluminum hydride, then what is the procedure for that? So we will use this ethylene glycol. Just recall that the acetal formation, okay, acetal formation of aldehyde or ketal formation of ketone. Okay, that one we will use. That is, we will protect, since you can see here that these are the groups. Okay, according to its reactivity, these are the groups. So first you see that aldehyde is more reactive than ketone, which in turn is more reactive than ester, then amide, and the least one is the carboxylic acid. That is this one is the reactivity of this carbonyl carbon. Okay, So first is aldehyde, then ketone, ester, amide, and then carboxylic acids. Okay, all these groups are reduced by lithium aluminum hydride, whereas only aldehyde and ketone are reduced by sodium borohydride, and these groups are not reduced by sodium borohydride. So you can see here from that ketone is much more reactive than ester. Okay, so if we use lithium aluminum hydride, simply first ketone will reduce and then it will reduce ester, but we have to protect this ketone first. So by employing ethylene glycol, okay, that is the ketone formation here. So first ketone is much more reactive than ester group, so ketone will get protected. Okay, that is ketone formation will take place. Now we will give lithium aluminum hydride. So what it will do is it will reduce the ester group to primary alcohol. Okay, always keep in mind that ester groups are reduced to primary alcohol, 1 degree alcohols. Okay, and further treatment with mineral acids will deprotect this kettle to its corresponding carbonyl group. That is, we will get our ketone back. Okay, now both lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride do not reduce alpha beta unsaturated double bond. So what do you mean by alpha beta unsaturated double bond? Okay, see now this one is the ketonic group. So any carbon which is adjacent to the carbonyl group is known as alpha carbon. Okay, so this carbon is alpha carbon, this carbon is also alpha carbon. So the naming goes like alpha beta gamma theta, gamma delta, sorry, alpha beta gamma delta. Okay, so this first carbon is alpha carbon adjacent to carbonyl group, and the second will be beta carbon. Okay, now in alpha beta carbon there is one double bond. Okay, double bond is there, that is one unsaturation is present. So this type of compound is known as alpha beta unsaturated double bond. Okay, or here it is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, this one. Okay, alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, or simply if you want to mention this double bond, then you have to say alpha beta unsaturated double bond. Okay, now you can see this one, sorry, lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride do not get reduced, do not reduces alpha beta unsaturated double bond and double bond of the benzene rings. So you can see in this example that crotonaldehyde. Okay, see this is one aldehydic group, CHO. So adjacent to aldehydic group will be alpha, and adjacent to alpha it will be beta, and then it will be gamma. Okay, so alpha beta contains one unsaturation, that is one double bond. So if you treat it with lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride, the alpha beta unsaturated double bond will remain intact. Okay, see here, intact. Only the aldehyde will get reduced to primary alcohol. That is, you can see here crotonaldehyde is being reduced to protyl alcohol. Similarly, you can see here that this one is, let's name this compound. Okay, according to IUPAC naming nomenclature, this one will get priority 1. That is, if in a ring carbonyl group is present, that is ketone group is present, then the ketonic carbon will get the least priority, that is number 1. Okay, then this unsaturation will get number 2, then it is number 3. So this compound will be cyclohex 2 in on. Okay, that is cyclohex 2 in on. Now if we treat this compound with lithium aluminum hydride, then what will happen is that this unsaturation will not get reduced, only this ketonic group will get reduced to secondary alcohol, as you can see in the major product here, that is cyclohex 2 in 1 all. See that the unsaturation remains intact, only the ketonic part is reduced to secondary alcohol. We will get this all reduced product, that means here the double bond is also reducing, okay, but that is only 2% and this one is 94%, okay, that is very minor product here, this one, okay. So we will consider only this product, we will not consider this product here, okay. Now moving on to the benzene ring. So this one compound is para-ionosyl benzaldehyde, okay. If you reduce this one with sodium borohydride, so what you will see is that this benzene ring remains intact. Benzene ring also contains double bond, three double bonds, okay, which is in conjugation. So this benzene ring remains intact, that is the double bond is not being reduced, only the alcohol is being reduced to primary alcohol, okay. Now this lithium aluminum hydride do not reduce alpha beta unsaturated double bond, okay. There is one catch here. You will see that however this one, okay, however when a phenyl group is attached to beta carbon, so this was our beta carbon, okay, here in this beta carbon all are hydrogen. Oh, my mistake, sorry, this one was our gamma carbon, okay, not this beta carbon, this one is our beta carbon, sorry, this alpha, this beta and this gamma, okay. So in our beta carbon, that is in crotonaldehyde, the beta carbon contains a methyl group, whereas this is cinnamaldehyde, okay. In cinnamaldehyde, this one is the alpha carbon, this one is the beta carbon, okay. In cinnamaldehyde, the beta carbon contains a phenyl group, that is a benzene ring, you can say. So however when a phenyl group is attached to the beta carbon atom of alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl group, the double bond is also reduced along with the carbonyl group, okay. So if beta carbon contains one phenyl group, that is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl carbon, that is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl group contains a beta phenyl group, then the unsaturation also gets reduced. See here, okay. This is the was the unsaturation first when no phenyl group was present at the beta carbon. But if phenyl group is present, then the unsaturation also gets reduced. Note here that this phenyl group remains intact. Okay, this phenyl groups remains intact. These phenyl groups remain intact. Only the unsaturation extra along with this aldehyde gets reduced. That means which will get reduced if phenyl group is not present, only this group, this aldehyde group will get reduced, but if phenyl group is present, then unsaturation along with this aldehyde will get reduced. And this question always comes in entrance exam, either it may be JEE or NEET exam, okay. So this question always comes. Now catalytic hydrogenation can also reduce both the double bond and the carbonyl group simultaneously. So we take an example, this one, this crotonaldehyde, that is but 2 in 1 al, okay. This one is the same compound, see here, this compound and this compound is same, okay, crotonaldehyde. So if we reduce crotonaldehyde with catalytic hydrogenation method, then this unsaturation along with this aldehyde will also get reduced. That is, it reduces both the double bond and the carbonyl group. Note here that this one does not contain any phenyl group, it is methyl group. Okay, whereas if we use lithium aluminum hydride, this unsaturation remains intact. See, lithium aluminum hydride, this unsaturation remains intact, whereas if we employ this catalytic hydrogenation, this unsaturation gets reduced. Okay, now in order to reduce aldehyde or ketone selectively without reducing carbon carbon double bond in the same molecule, that is, if you consider the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl to reduce selectively aldehyde or ketone, okay, selectively aldehyde or ketone, we will not be reducing this carbon carbon double bond. Okay, a reducing agent hydroborane known as 9BBN has been suggested. This reduces the carbonyl group of unsaturated aldehydes or ketones with high selectivity, very high selectivity. So what is 9BBN? Okay, 9BBN is 9-bora bicyclo 331 nonane. Now, how is it prepared? You take this compound, you add borane. Now recall the addition of borane to double bond. Okay, this this same what do you say, this same reaction was utilized for the preparation of aldehydes and ketones. That olefin is there. Okay, then BH3 will come here and BH3 will get add over here. The addition is syn addition, like this. Okay, the addition is syn addition, then you will get vinylic borane. Okay, like that, same reaction. Okay, but here the substrate is different. Here there is two olefins. Okay, first boron will get attached with this one BH2, then this BH2 will again react with this olefin to give you this 9BBN. Now we take this cyclohextuinon, or yeah, we take this cyclohextuinon and treat it with 9BBN. So what we will get is final product is this, that is 100% reduction. Okay, previously you can see here that this one with lithium aluminum hydride. Okay, although lithium aluminum hydride is more reactive, it is giving only 94%, but here we are getting 100% with 9BBN. That is, it has very high selectivity for aldehydes and ketones. Whereas if we use lithium aluminum hydride, we were getting another minor product in which both the unsaturation and the carbonyl group were being reduced. Similarly, these are some substrates which are being reduced with 9BBN. So here we are getting 100%. See, unsaturation remains intact. Here also it is 95%, unsaturation remains intact. This one is 76%. Here this benzene ring and this unsaturation remains intact. Only here we are getting alcohol. Okay, now you see crotonaldehyde, if we reduce it catalytically, then here both carbon carbon double bond and carbon oxygen double bond are being reduced. That is, here we are getting primary alcohol and here you are getting a hydrocarbon. Okay, that is alkane type. Whereas if you use 9BBN, then only CO is being reduced. That is, you are getting only primary alcohol and the unsaturation remains intact. Now we saw the reactions, that is catalytic hydrogenation and complex metal hydrides. Those reactions were giving us alcohol. Now we are moving to hydrocarbon. So how you can get hydrocarbons, okay, that is alkane here, okay, from this carbonyl compound. So aldehydes and ketones can be reduced to corresponding hydrocarbons by the following methods. See, this one is carbonyl compound, you reduce this one, you are getting hydrocarbon, and these are some methods. So first one is reduction with zinc amalgam, okay, zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl, also known as Clemmensen reduction. This one is important for your boards as well as entrance examinations, okay. So what is zinc amalgam? Zinc amalgam is zinc metal in mercury, okay, that is zinc amalgam. So the reaction of aldehydes and ketones with zinc amalgam, that is zinc in mercury alloy, okay, zinc and mercury alloy. So the reaction of aldehydes and ketones with zinc amalgam in concentrated hydrochloric acid, that is HCl, which reduces the aldehydes or ketones to a hydrocarbon, is called Clemmensen reduction. That is, utilizing zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl, we reduce aldehydes or ketone to hydrocarbons. This reaction is usually done for aldehydes or alkali sensitive ketones. So this reaction is usually done for aldehydes, not for ketones that much, okay. So mainly it is for aldehydes. Ketones can also be reduced, but mainly it is for aldehydes. And what do you mean by this alkali sensitive ketones? Okay, alkali sensitive. So this reaction is for aldehydes and for alkali sensitive ketones. Now alkali sensitive means if in a ketone, okay, or if in a molecule some groups are there which gets destroyed in alkali medium, if that is some groups if get destroyed, that is if pH is greater than 7, okay, in that medium if some group gets destroyed, okay, then it is known as alkali sensitive. Means in alkaline medium the group loses its property, that is the group now no longer remains same, it gets rearranged or further it gets converted to it gets converted to some other groups. So that is alkali sensitive. And if that group gets converted to different group in acidic medium, then it is acid sensitive, okay. So I hope you are clear with the concept, that is what is alkali sensitive and what is acid sensitive. If the group is converted to another group, that is the group destroys in alkali medium, then it is known as acid alkali sensitive. And if the group is destroyed in acid medium, then it is acid sensitive. Since here we are using hydrochloric acid, that is pH will be less than 7 here. So the alkali sensitive ketones can be reduced to hydrocarbons in this method, okay. So see here, that is acetaldehyde, we are reducing it with zinc amalgam in concentrated HCl, we are getting alkane and one molecule of water, okay. Similarly acetone, same reaction condition, we are getting propane. Now note here that this CHO is converted to CH3 and here this CO is converted to CH2, okay. Now moving on to this example, you can see here that this OH remains same and this OCH3 remains same in the product. Only this aldehyde part, it gets reduced to alkane, that is a hydrocarbon CH3 here. And here in this example, that is acetophenone, this carbonyl group gets converted to CH2 group, okay. Now reduction with basic solution of hydrazine. So first one was in acid medium. Now second one is in basic medium. Okay. The reaction of aldehydes and ketones with hydrazine. What is hydrazine? NH2 bond NH2. This one is hydrazine. Okay. The reaction of aldehydes and ketones with hydrazine in basic medium, which reduces the aldehyde or the ketone to a hydrocarbon, is called Wolff-Kirschner reduction. Okay, this one is also very important for your board as well as entrance. Here hydrazine act as the reducing agent in the presence of strong base KOH in a high boiling protic solvent ethylene glycol. This is the molecular formula of ethylene glycol. This is just a minute. Okay, so this one is your ethylene glycol. Okay, this is your ethylene glycol, this molecule. So this one is ethylene glycol, which have high boiling point, that is around 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, so here aldehyde is first converted to hydrazone. So aldehyde is first converted to hydrazone. It may be aldehyde or ketone with hydrazine. Now recall the reaction, that reaction of aldehydes and ketones with ammonia derivatives. Okay, that is aldehyde and ketones react with hydrazine to give you hydrazone. Same reaction here. Okay, and gives you one molecule of water. Now this hydrazone on further treatment with a strong base gets converted to corresponding hydrocarbon. So this hydrocarbon is further treated with strong base, that is KOH, and we are ending up with alkane and nitrogen molecule, that is nitrogen gas. So how does the reaction takes place? So this is our hydrazone here. Okay, now to remove hydrogen from this nitrogen, we need a strong base. Okay, so KOH. Now the conjugate base, which is derived from ethylene glycol, is much more stronger than KOH. Okay, this KOH takes up one proton from ethylene glycol and we get this conjugate base from ethylene glycol, that is conjugate base of ethylene glycol, and this conjugate base is much more stronger than KOH. Okay, now this takes up proton from nitrogen, so it gets converted to ethylene glycol again. This molecule taking up proton from nitrogen gets converted to ethylene glycol. Now nitrogen will bear a negative charge, so what it will do is it will form a nitrogen nitrogen double bond, and the carbon nitrogen double bond will cleave to give a carbanion. Okay, this carbanion. So this is the two canonical structure, that is these are two resonance structures. Okay, two resonance structures to stabilize this negative charge over nitrogen atom. So you can see here that the negative charge over nitrogen atom is being stabilized to carbon atom, that is the negative charge is stabilized through three atoms here. Okay, now the carbon ion then takes up proton from ethylene glycol and you get this one. Okay, and again you are getting conjugate base of ethylene glycol. Further, this conjugate base again deprotonates the remaining hydrogen from the nitrogen atom to give you again negative charge over nitrogen. So now what will happen is that the negative charge will form a nitrogen nitrogen triple bond, that is N2. N2 gas will get released, and this carbon nitrogen single bond will break to give you this carbon ion. Okay, now why this breaking occurs? Because nitrogen is trivalent in nature, that is nitrogen can have only 3 bonds. So if nitrogen is forming triple bond with another molecule of nitrogen, and this nitrogen is forming one with carbon, then it is becoming tetravalent. So to maintain its octet, it has to break this carbon nitrogen bond. Okay, so now we have this carbon ion, and this carbon ion again takes up one proton from ethylene glycol to give you the corresponding hydrocarbon here. Okay, I hope this mechanism is clear to all of you. Now these are some examples. Cyclopentanol, if you treat it with hydrazine KOH in ethylene glycol, and if you heat it, you will get cyclopentane. See, ketone group is converted to CH2 group. Simple here. Here also this ketone group is converted to CH2 group. Similarly here ketone group is converted to CH2 group. Okay, under the same condition. Now moving on to the third process, that is the third method, reduction with hydrogen iodide in the presence of red phosphorus. Aldehydes and ketones are reduced to corresponding hydrocarbons by heating with hydrogen iodide in the presence of red phosphorus to 423 Kelvin, that is 150 degrees Celsius. So you take acetaldehyde, hydrogen iodide in red phosphorus, you end up with hydrocarbon, that is in this case it is ethane. Similarly you take acetone, under the similar reaction condition you end up with propane. Okay, now this reduction to pinacols, this reaction is very important for your entrance exams. Okay, question comes from this one. Okay, from this pinacol type rearrangement. Now what is this reduction to pinacols? That is bimolecular reduction. Bimolecular reduction means here two molecules get reduced. Okay, so ketones on reduction with magnesium amalgam. So what is magnesium amalgam? That is magnesium and mercury alloy. So ketones on reduction with magnesium amalgam and water are reduced to symmetrical diols known as pinacols. Two molecules of acetone undergo reduction in the presence of magnesium amalgam to form pinacol. Okay. Now here see why you are ending up with symmetrical diols. Why not unsymmetrical diols? The answer is very simple here, because two molecules of acetone means two same molecules undergo a reduction, that is two molecules, that is bimolecular reaction of acetone undergo reduction in the presence of mercury amalgam. So two same molecules, so that is why you are getting symmetrical diols. If different molecules were there, then you would have end up with unsymmetrical diols, but here two same molecules means two acetone molecules only, that is why you are getting symmetrical diols. Okay, see here acetone, this one is mercury amalgam and another molecule of acetone. Here this one was the first molecule, this one is the second molecule. So this mercury amalgam you are getting this as intermediate. Further hydrolysis will give you this diol. Okay, that is pinacol. You can see here this one alcohol and another alcohol. Okay, that is, here it is diol. If you break this one, this portion up to this portion, this fragments comes from the first acetone molecule and this fragments comes from the second acetone molecule. Note here that if you reduce this carbon oxygen double bond, you will get this COH. Okay, you will get CHOH. Okay, now here you are getting COH, and instead of H, this carbon is bonded to different carbon atom. Okay, and vice versa for this molecule also. So now what is the mechanism of this reaction? So see here, this one is the mechanism for the pinacol reaction. Okay, that is this pinacol reduction. So two molecules of acetone, magnesium. Magnesium is an electropositive metal. It readily loses electron to become, it readily loses two electrons, okay, to become magnesium 2 plus. Okay, so now here you can see that this magnesium and here two molecules of acetone. So per molecule of acetone, this magnesium will give one electron. So first molecule of acetone, one electron, and second molecule of acetone, it will give one electron. So in total this magnesium is giving two electrons. So this magnesium is giving two electrons. Okay, now this magnesium is giving two electrons and being converted to magnesium 2 plus. Now this type of reactions are known as radical reaction. So you know that this what you say, one bond is made up of two electrons. So you can visualize this as like this. Okay, that means from this oxygen molecule one electron will come and form this pi bond. Okay, that is, these are the p orbital electrons for carbon and oxygen atom. Note, while the movement of these electrons we will use half arrow. Okay, and for negative charges we will be using this full arrow. This one is for negative charges and this one is for single electrons. Okay, for single electrons half arrow and for negative charges full arrow. Okay, so here if we give here h nu, that is light. Okay, then this p orbital, that is the pi bond, cleaves, and you can see here this oxygen gets one electron and this carbon gets its shared pair of electron. That is, the oxygen gets its electron back and this carbon gets its electron back. Now magnesium is giving one electron to each. Okay, that is, this magnesium is giving its electron, one electron to this oxygen atom. Okay, so now oxygen atom will have two electrons, so it will become a negative charge here. Similarly, for another molecule, for the second molecule here, magnesium will give its second electron. Note here that I am using half arrow. Okay, so magnesium will give its second electron to oxygen atom and this second molecule will bear a negative charge in the oxygen atom. And note here that the carbon electron, the electron on the carbon atom remains as it is. See here, the electrons remain as it is. Okay. Now this magnesium is coordinated with this two oxygen atom. Okay. So you see here that this carbon contains one electron and this carbon contains one electron. So these two carbon can combine with each other to form a carbon-carbon single bond. Okay. Now you are getting up this. Okay. And further acidic hydrolysis will give you pinacol. Okay. You see here that this minus O minus, it will take up one proton. Similarly, this O minus will take up another proton and you will get diol, that is pinacol. Okay, so this is the mechanism for the reduction of carbonyls in presence of magnesium amalgam to give you pinacol. So see here that in this one, okay, this, if you consider, actually this is the main, your intermediate. Okay. After forming this carbon-carbon single bond, okay, see here, oxygen is coordinated with magnesium, this oxygen with magnesium, and now you are giving this, you are doing acidic hydrolysis. Okay, so for this you give here one water molecule and here one water molecule, and you cleave like this. Okay, so you will end up with this one, this 2OH and magnesium hydroxide. So note here that how they are cleaving. If you have any confusion, then you can use this also. Okay, so they are cleaving like this if they are getting magnesium hydroxide. Okay, and here you see they are using one water molecule here and the second water molecule here. Okay, they are cleaving like this. Now further moving on to pinacolon rearrangement. Okay. Okay, upon treatment with mineral acids, the 2,3 dimethyl 2,3 butanediol, that is the pinacol, is converted into methyl third butyl ketone, that is pinacolon. Okay, now here if we treat this molecule with mineral acid, okay, then we will get methyl third butyl ketone, that is a pinacolon. So some rearrangement is occurring with this within this molecule to give us pinacolon. The 1,2-diol undergo dehydration in a such a way that the rearrangement of the carbon skeleton occurs. So this pinacol molecule undergoes dehydration. Okay. Other 1,2-diols undergo analogous reaction which are known as pinacol-pinacolone type rearrangement. And here aldehydes do not give this reaction. Okay, you note this one, that aldehydes do not give this reaction. Okay, so now this is the pinacol-pinacolone rearrangement. See here, this is the pinacol. You treat it with mineral acid, you will get pinacolone. Okay, pinacolone type rearrangement. Here this pinacolone type rearrangement. Now you can see here that this pinacol, okay, particularly for this example only, okay, this pinacol has this ketomethyl group or the alpha methyl group next to the carbonyl group. Okay, so it can undergo haloform reaction. So if we treat it with iodine in presence of sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, you will get iodoform, and the corresponding salt of carboxylic acid having one carbon atom less than the end of the substrate. That is, here this molecule, that is this pinacolon, can undergo iodoform reaction or haloform reaction as it has one alpha methyl or one ketomethyl group. This one is particularly for this example. I am not telling that if there is pinacolon molecule, it will always undergo this haloform reaction. It is not like that. In this particular example, okay, in this particular example, this ketomethyl group is present, so it undergoes iodoform reaction. So now you note here that what are the changes occurring in pinacol to pinacolon type rearrangement. So if we look from this left hand side, in this one two methyl groups present, so two methyl groups present. Now what happens is that this hydroxy group is absent, and in place of hydroxy one methyl group is present here, and in this molecule this OH is being oxidized to carbonyl group, and this CH3 is missing here. Okay, this CH3 is missing. So how this rearrangement is taking place? So now let's move on to the mechanism. Okay, so this is our pinacol. Now hydroxy group, these oxygens have lone pair of electrons. Okay, this oxygen contains two lone pair of electrons, so this will get protonated. Okay, this OH2 plus. Now what happens is that there is means this OH2 leaves. Okay, since it is a symmetrical ketone, you can show it in either way, left hand side OH or right hand side OH. Okay, now this OH2 plus, that is water molecule, leaves out, giving one carbocation. See here, this molecule is a carbocation. Okay, this carbocation. Now this carbocation contain is trivalent. To satisfy its tetravalency and to fill up its octet, so what this carbon do is, this alpha carbon to this carbocation, what does it do is, it shifts one alkyl group from itself to the adjacent carbon atom. Okay, see here, alkyl shift occurs. So now this is the new, this one is the methyl group which has shifted. Okay, and what is this shift is, this shift is 1 to alkyl shift, since the starting this 1 2. Okay, how does it names, that is n comma n, this one is n comma n shift. Okay, n means starting position and m means ending position. Okay, so if shift would have occurred like this, suppose CH3. Okay, this one 1 2 3 4. If it would have gone to carbon number 4, then it is 1 4 shift. If it is 1 3 for carbon 3, then it would have been 1 3 shift. Okay, like this, starting position and ending position. So here this methyl shifts over this carbocation. Okay, previously this carbocation, previously this carbon, okay, has two methyl group. Now it has three methyl groups. See here, three methyl groups. Now, in your mind, one question may arise that why this shift occurs, since beforehand there was carbocation and now also there is another carbocation. So what is the use of this shift if we are ending up with carbocation only? So why this rearrangement taking place, that is 1 to alkyl shift, why it is happening? So the answer is that in the previous one you can see that this carbon, okay, is only stabilized with this inductive effects, okay, but after rearrangement we are getting this new carbocation which can be stabilized through pi electrons of the oxygen atom. See here, this one, okay, this carbocation is more stabilized than this carbocation, okay. Why? Because it is connected with oxygen and oxygen can stabilize much more efficiently than these two methyl groups, okay. This oxygen atom can stabilize this carbocation much more efficiently as compared to these two methyl groups. So this rearrangement is taking place to give us more stable carbocation, okay. This reaction is happening to give us more stable carbocation, okay. So further, if this oxygen atom stabilizes this carbocation through its lone pair of electrons, then this oxygen atom will bear a positive charge, and to neutralize this positive charge it will deprotonate itself, okay. See here that this 3 CH3, this third butyl group, and this one carbonyl group, and this is the methyl group, okay. This hydrogen, this oxygen gets deprotonated itself sorry, this oxygen deprotonates itself to give this carbonyl compound. So this pinacolon gives haloform test due to the presence of this ketomethyl group. So what are the stages involving in this reaction? So first, protonation. So protonation occurs. Second, deprotonation. Actually this one, not deprotonation, actually it should have been this removal of water. Okay, sorry, yeah, deprotonation also occurs in this one, okay. Deprotonation, this is not in the sequence, okay. This one is not in sequence, okay. So that is why like this. So protonation, deprotonation, then alkyl shift, and then removal of water molecule, okay. So main thing is this one, okay, alkyl shift. The key thing to this mechanism is this alkyl shift only, okay. So now if you see here, this one was symmetrical, okay, symmetrical pinnacle. What would have been, what would it have been if this was unsymmetrical? Means if you see here these two methyl groups, suppose here it is phenyl group, okay, and here it is methyl group, then in this alkyl shift, okay, which group will get shifted to this carbocation, which group? And moreover here this carbon and this carbon is symmetrical, so you can lose, it can lose water molecule from any of the any of the carbon here, because these two carbons are symmetrical, it can lose water molecule from either carbon. But if the molecule is unsymmetrical, then which carbon will lose water? And after losing water, if these two groups are different, okay, then which group will go preferentially to stabilize this carbocation, okay. So now we will be learning that portion. So as the migrating group migrates, with its electron pair, the more nucleophilic group might be expected to migrate. Okay, so more nucleophilic group will be expected to migrate. Thus, the order of migratory aptitude amongst the aryl group. Okay, aryl group, that means containing one benzene ring. So the migratory aptitude is para-anisile, para-toluene, phenyl, then para-chlorophenyl, etc. Now, what is para-anisile? Okay, para-anisile means OCH3 in 4 position. Okay, this OCH3 in 4 position. Para-toluene means only CH3 will be present. Okay, phenyl means hydrogen will be present here, only the benzene ring. And then para chlorophenyl means in 4 position only chlorine will present. Okay, so this is the trend. This one is para-anisile, this one is para-toluene, phenyl and para-chlorophenyl. Okay, now steric hindrance may affect the rate of migration. That is, para-anisile group migrates 1000 times faster than ortho-anisile group. What is ortho-anisile? That means this OCH3 group will be present in 2 position. This one ortho-anisile OCH3. Okay, 2 position. So now you can see here that steric hindrance, due to steric hindrance, this phenyl group substituent here and this OCH3 may undergo some steric hindrance. So para-anisile group migrates 1000 times faster. Okay, this para-anisile group migrates 1000 times faster than ortho-anisile group. Okay, so now in this reaction, in this example, you can see here that since these two are both this molecule is a symmetrical molecule around this carbon-carbon single bond. So if you draw one line, see here, this one is symmetrical molecule. Okay, now we have to take into consideration if suppose here this water molecule leaves. Okay, here now this carbon is bearing a positive charge. So now among these two molecules, sorry, these two groups, that is phenyl group and para-toluene group, which group will preferentially migrate over the adjacent carbocation? So you can see here the trend. Para-toluene para-toluene having more tendency to migrate. So this para-toluene group will migrate over this carbocation. Okay, so as in the results you can see that this carbocation contains this phenyl group, checked phenyl group, this para-toluene group checked, and this para-toluene group is here. Okay, so see here this carbon contains the phenyl group. So para-toluene preferentially migrates over phenyl. Now moving on to the migratory aptitude of the alkyl groups. So remember, electron attracting groups will retard the migration. Okay, if some electron attracting groups are present, previously it was donating group, now it was electron attracting group is present, then it will retard the migration. Okay, the migration will be less. So now moving on to the alkyl groups, the migratory aptitude among the alkyl group is tertiary methyl, that is tertiary, sorry, not tertiary methyl, that is tertiary alkyl, then secondary alkyl, then primary methyl. Okay, however the stability of initially formed carbocation may offset the migratory aptitude order. Sorry, this one will be aptitude. Okay. So migratory aptitude amongst alkyl group is tertiary alkyl, then secondary alkyl, then primary alkyl, and then methyl. Okay, this is the migratory aptitude of alkyl groups. Now we have to, these were the migratory aptitude trend. Okay, but first we have to consider the stability of the initially formed carbocation. Okay, see here, however the stability of the initially formed carbocation may offset the migratory aptitude order. Okay, thus in the compound 1,1-dimethyl 2,2-phenyl glycol, the resonance stabilized carbocation 1 is formed instead of 2, and so is the methyl group and not the phenyl group which migrates, contrary to the above sequence. So you can see here that first what happens is the formation of carbocation. Okay, first carbocation forms, and after the formation of carbocation this alkyl migration occurs. Okay, so what this sentence states is that the stability of initially formed carbocation may offset the migratory aptitude. So the stability of initially formed carbocation will may alter the migratory aptitude. Okay, in this example you can see here this, for the first carbocation and here second carbocation. Okay, we know that phenyl has a greater migratory aptitude as compared to methyl. Okay, this migratory aptitude of the aryl groups is more than this methyl. Okay, so what happens is that we should consider that this OH will leave and this phenyl will migrate. Am I right? Means this carbon will form carbocation and then this phenyl will migrate. Okay, if we consider the migratory aptitude. Okay, but the first is the formation of carbocation and that is the stability of the initially formed carbocation. So if we consider the loss of water molecule from the first carbon atom, okay, this carbon atom, so we are getting this carbocation. If we consider the loss of water molecule from the second carbon, then we are getting this carbocation. Now see here, which carbocation is more stable. Okay, so this carbocation is bonded to two phenyl groups, that is the positive charge, that is the carbocation is stabilized by two phenyl groups through resonance, whereas in the second carbocation this carbocation is only stabilized by two methyl groups through induction and hyperconjugation. That is, here if we consider this carbocation 1 and this carbocation 2, then carbocation 1 is much more stable as compared to carbocation 2 because of this two phenyl rings. These two phenyl rings stabilizes the carbocation through resonance. Okay, so although phenyl group has a greater tendency to migrate as compared to methyl, the stability of carbocation is offsetting the migratory aptitude order. I hope this one is clear. Because of this stability of carbocation, the migratory aptitude is the migratory aptitude order is altered. Okay, so phenyl uh, does not gets shift over to this carbon atom. Okay, why? Because the stability of carbocation in this carbon is much more stable. Okay, means this carbocation is much more stable. Thus in the compound this, the resonance stabilized carbocation 1 is formed instead of 2, and so it is the methyl group not the phenyl group. Okay, it is the methyl group not the phenyl group which migrates, contrary to the above sequence. That is, Now after forming this carbocation, this methyl group migrates over this carbocation to give us the final product. Okay, so always remember, first you have to check for the stability of carbocation. Okay, after this more stable carbocation, now you have to consider which group will shift. Now let me give you one example. Okay, suppose this contains two phenyl groups, this one methyl group, this one phenyl group. Okay, this one OH, this one OH. Suppose this compound. Okay, so first we have to see which carbon will form the carbocation. So if the green marker carbocation forms, then it is stabilized by one methyl group and one phenyl group. If the blue marker carbocation forms, then it is stabilized by two phenyl groups. So obviously two phenyl group will stabilize the carbocation much more compared to this one phenyl and one methyl group. So this carbocations forms. Okay, now so first we have checked the stability of carbocation. Now comes the migratory aptitude of this carbon. Okay, so we know that phenyl has more tendency to migrate as compared to methyl. So this phenyl will now migrate over this carbon, and the final product will be this. Okay, pH, pH, and this pH. Okay, this is the final product. So first you have to consider the stability of carbocation. So first one is stability of carbocation, and then second one you have to consider the alkyl shift. Okay, migratory aptitude of the adjacent carbon groups. Okay, so first you have to consider the stability of carbocation, and second you have to consider the alkyl shifts, means the shifts from the adjacent carbon. Okay, first always remember stability, you have to look for the stability, and then you have to do the shift, and while shifting you have to consider this migratory aptitude. Okay, migratory aptitude, this to migratory aptitude. Okay, now this question came in IIT JEE. Okay, I do not remember which year, but I got from internet that this one came in IIT JEE. So identify the correct product from the following reaction. So you see here that this is a pinacol. Okay, cyclic pinacol. So what will be the product here? So now this is a symmetrical. If we draw a line from the CC single bond, then you can see here that the same groups are present, that is it is a symmetrical. So no matter from which carbon you are removing water, you will end up the same intermediate. Okay, that is the carbocation. So let us remove from this oxygen, this carbon, this OH is removed. Okay, so now over this, which one will get which one will preferentially migrate? Okay, now you look here that here one CH3 molecule is there, and here one phenyl type group is there. Okay, actually it is naphthalene type. So if we migrate this naphthalene over this carbocation, then we will be ending up with a four membered ring. Okay, this one will be this, okay, and this one COCH3 will be ending up with this compound, okay. But here this four membered ring is very unstable, so this one will not migrate. So what will migrate is this CH3 will migrate, okay. Let me clear all this mess. So what will migrate is this CH3 will migrate over this carbocation formed. So what will be our product? Our product will be C, okay. Why this naphthyl group is not migrating? Because the final product will be this one, and in this one four membered ring forms, and four membered ring is highly unstable. It's not highly unstable, but it is very unstable. Four membered ring is very unstable, so this product is not forming. This naphthyl group is not migrating, whereas this methyl group migrates, okay. So this is our answer mechanism. See here, you can just protonate any of the hydroxy group, because these both carbons, this carbon and this carbon is symmetrical, so you are protonating this hydroxy group. Now this hydroxy group leaves as water, so you are ending up with this carbocation, and now methyl group migrates, that is rearrangement occurs, that is this C is forming. You just uh, draw nicely along, means you just check with the answers which one is the right answer. So you can see this is the C, okay. So these are a few examples, same kind of example here. Same, this phenyl group will migrate over this one, so you see two phenyl groups, okay, for the final product. So these are some reactions you do by your own, and see whether you are getting or not. If you are not getting, then please tell me. I will try to make these things more clear to you, okay. So here you are seeing that what is pyro compounds, okay. Pyro compounds mean this carbon, okay, this carbon is bonded to two rings, okay, that is pyro compound. Same here also, that this carbon is bonded to two rings, okay, that is pyro compound. So here it is, this one is finished. I hope you have understood the reduction of aldehydes and ketones. So if you have any problem regarding the previous nucleophilic addition reactions, then oxidation reaction and the reduction reaction, please do tell me, and please let me know whether you guys are understanding all the things I am teaching you or not, okay. So next we will do some miscellaneous reactions, and if you want me to teach you the reactions which are important for your entrance exam, okay, many reactions are there which are not included in your board exam syllabus but are very important for your entrance exams. So if you want me to teach those, then please let me know in the comments below, okay. So thank you for your time. Have a good day.